Yes.
I have no idea where I'm sitting in the frame, but I assume it's all right.
Is it started?
You're on.
Yeah, we're on.
Go.
Hello. Welcome to Heroes and Generals, live Devstream episode number 59, live from Copenhagen. I have with me Reto Redbjarne, the game director, and I'm the support manager, Reto Gargamel. And today we are actually going to talk about a bunch of new stuff that is coming in the next update called Adams, in honor of an American war hero.
And beer.
And oh yeah, Adams, Samuel Adams, right? Yeah. It's actually good beer. Yeah.
Good beer, yeah.
We should really get money every time we plug those products. So the first thing I think we want to mention, just like a public service announcement, there's a new forum thread here.
It's actually been there for a few weeks, but I think
we're starting to kind of...
Yeah, I think we need to sort of like mention it every time just to make sure that new players actually know it's there. So because it's
Robotron who had this great idea to take all the common, like the very frequently asked questions. Really, it's an FAQ, but better than that, it's an FAQ about the known issues and coming features. So when people are asking for example, when are the bipods coming? Because we've been talking about having bipods on weapons. So if you scroll down this list at some point, something is going to be mentioned about bipods. It's easier if I just look for... it was the first one. So there you go. So bipods, for example. So we can basically have the answer here. For the moment, we don't know when they're going to be added to the game. But as soon as we get an update on that, we'll put it on that page so that everybody knows the answer. This is the official answer for now. So,
and I should also mention that we on a weekly basis we collect feedback from the forums and from all our other community channels, and with that information we go through this list and update it if necessary, and obviously if stuff has been fixed, it's going to be removed from the list, so you can subscribe to this thread, and that way you'll get an update every time we update something on the list. And obviously it's we try to describe the situation and the status as shortly as possible, because some of the problems are quite complex. And
if you read the intro, Robotron explains the basically the few keywords like backlog. What does that mean? ETA. What does that mean? Hotfix update. Yeah. What does that mean? So it's really practical. I find that if there's something you really want to know, it's possible that somebody else has asked the question before, and that we actually.
But also, if you find new players on the forums asking questions, you can always direct them to this page and let them know it's there.
Which, by the way, I might as well also plug this in, which is on the support website. I also started doing that, putting yellow boxes on the front page. So if you log into, it's always better to log in to send support tickets, because then you can also look at the knowledge base. Because I know that some people just use the email address to write support, but then you don't see all this info. There is actually on the support site, I try to keep the knowledge base also updated. So for example, if you're looking for, I think recently there was something with Windows, for example. Yeah, there you go. Like for example, is Windows 10 supported and that kind of thing. But I think also, no, it's on the front page, sorry. In the front page there was this, I decided to put some common issues up there. So when I see that several people have the same issue, you can sometimes find also known issues here.
Yeah, maybe you should put a link there to the
other page. Actually, it is there. It's here. So this is linking to the forum also.
Excellent.
So we tried to kind of make it available in as many places as possible. This link is what I mean. Which also
hey, we forgot something. There's supposed to be when is the Panther coming?
Yeah, when is the Panther coming? Isn't that?
Sorry.
It's somewhere in there.
Is it?
It has to be. No? Oh no. Okay. No.
Because that's because it's not an issue.
It's not really an issue. It will happen.
No.
Or not.
Never.
Sarcasm. It's important. to remind you.
I'm sorry.
So, serious business. There is something actually quite major. It's a little bit subtle, but it's a major thing, and it's coming in Adams, which will be hitting the servers soon. It's a new. I'm just going to prepare my little diagram here. Oh wait, that's not the first one I want to show. Is actually. But actually, there's a few of them. But I might as well start with that one actually. This here represents. I mean, we made a blog post about it, but I think the blog post it was a little bit confusing for some people. I think
it needs a bit of explanation.
Like, so we're going to do a concrete demonstration of what this means. When I made this one, I tried to kind of illustrate. What the crosshairs would have to look like to really always tell the truth in a way. It's basically that in this view, this shows you basically when you're hip firing, the difference between...
This actually only goes for hip firing?
Yeah,
right?
this is only for hip firing.
Yeah.
So when you're hip firing, what happens is that you are looking somewhere, but your weapon is not exactly pointing in the same direction. It's a parallel line, so basically where your eyes are looking and where your weapon is pointing, the two lines will touch at infinity, basically at the horizon. So, but at close range, there's a difference.
Not parallel.
Yeah, they're not parallel, but they're kind of parallel, aren't they?
If they're touching, they're not parallel.
At infinity, but they touch at infinity. There's like basically, if you prolong them infinitely, they will touch. But infinity is infinity.
All right. But no. Let's get on.
Yeah, let's get on with it. See, we're already confusing ourselves. So it is a very hard thing to explain. What I will do is I will, I think, right away just go quickly over the diagrams that we had in the blog post, and then I'll show it in the game, and you'll see what it means. Here I really exaggerated it, but this is the change. This is what we changed, basically, that we are looking at the character's line of sight and comparing it with the weapon's line of fire.
So the blue line is the line of sight?
The blue line here is the line of sight. That's why I made it blue here. So this blue circle is where you're looking. So when you're looking, you're really, like here you're aiming at the guy's face, but your weapon is not.
Yeah, and actually I think I've seen other games try to solve this by moving the crosshairs instead. Mm-hmm. But that's just...
It's confusing.
That's very confusing, I think. So the crosshairs are like change his position or have this weird shape instead.
But so I guess we might want to start from the start. Like a lot of games have the bullet come out of the camera. Right? Yeah. So basically, where you look is where you're aiming.
That's how the first-person shooter started. Is you shot from the camera.
So you can always leave basically the crosshairs in the center of the screen because this is, I mean, always where the bullet will be. But in our game, at first we had that. Basically, we had the camera kind of here, right, where the kind of a heart level camera.
Yeah, we had a sort of like a mix at some point.
So that like the early thing we had was basically firing from the camera, but the camera was not really your eyes; it was more like here, and that created all kinds of aberrations, really, all kinds of illogical situations. So we changed it so that you fire from the barrel of your weapon, from the weapon itself, and that created a different kind of issue, which is that people expected to be shooting at what they're looking at, and
which makes sense.
Which makes sense, but sometimes they were blocked basically. And the case here is basically you see that the sandbags are blocking the view. So what happens is this: the guy thinks he's aiming at the enemy's face, and what really happens is that his bullet is hitting the sandbag. And here I'm kind of illustrating what would happen. I mean, it happens right now on our live servers. This is what would happen, except the bullet here, you see that it's going up a little bit. It's testing to see if it can hit the face, and it meets an obstacle. So that's our new system, because normally the bullet will just fly in, a straight line from the gun.
And just hit
the sandbags anyway.
Yeah.
But in the new system, basically, it's checking to see could I cheat a little bit? Could I go a little bit?
No, but also
above, right?
In the old system, as you experience on live now, in the close situations, you need to aim a lot higher to make headshots, for example, because headshots will actually, if you point at the head, it'll hit him a lot lower. Yeah. This is only a problem when you're really close to stuff. On a distance, it doesn't really matter. Because the difference becomes much smaller.
And I guess again, we'll repeat this general concept in a few different ways, because I know it's really hard to kind of completely get your head around the first time. I mean, it took me a few times to kind of understand what exactly was going on. But you see, like in this example where there's no obstacle, you can see the dotted line is the way the bullets would travel in, basically the way it is right now on our live servers is, the bullets just leave the gun as where the gun is pointing. In our new system, what we're doing is we're giving you an extra kind of help. If you're looking at some guy's face and there is no obstacle in front of your gun, and you think you're gonna hit the guy's face, then you will, even though in like absolute terms, your gun is not really pointing at his face. Your gun is pointing a little bit lower, but we'll kind of give you that kind of extra little tilt.
Yeah, you won't notice it.
And you won't notice it because this is really exaggerated. This example is really exaggerated, like a lot. I'll show you in game. It's not that exaggerated. And this is something else. I'll explain it later. There's two changes really to the way bullets behave. And so the first one is really that we now make the bullet come out of your camera if the bullet that comes out of your gun is not blocked. So it's kind of a double criterion. Where's my? I have a link to the game itself. All right, I'm gonna launch the game, and I just learned this new trick so we can have like a side view camera. Right. If I'd known that before, I would have made some cool screenshots with it. Very soon we will be ready.
They noticed your glasses.
Oh, they did. See, nobody in the office noticed. I was like, I got these. I thought, like, I hope the change is not too drastic.
They're cool.
Cool. But they're German.
They're German?
They're German. German OP glasses.
Panther glasses.
We're almost ready. And by the same occasion, we can look also at some of the new stuff on the town map.
Oh yeah. That's a lot of.
That's another thing that
we just zoom around and check it out.
Maybe we should cover this.
Some minor adjustments, I'd say.
But you can see that in general, seen from the sky, it looks different. Oh, but you know why it looks different? It's because in my I have a. Oh, sorry. There, I removed the clouds. I think here around the Iron Bridge is a good place to test. So I'll just go down here. I mean, anywhere where there's sandbags is good. But here's a good example. There. All right. So what I'll do, I'll get here behind this concrete obstacle. So if I'm, for example, you see my crosshairs. I don't know if you're able to see the crosshairs. I'll put them in front of something. They're very faint, but yeah. So according to my crosshairs, I should be hitting basically I should be shooting at the landscape way over the river. But if I fire, actually in this case, I'm lucky. It's like right on the limit. But if I maybe aim here, there you go. So you see where my bullet impact appears. It's really on the edge of that obstacle. But my crosshairs are way above that. So again. So if I keep aiming just above the obstacle, my bullet doesn't cross. And if I do the same thing, but then from an outside perspective, and here I have to remember there you go. So again, when I'm, maybe I should do this. No, I can't do that. Okay, so when I'm aiming, basically looking right over the edge of that thing, you can see that my weapon is kind of pointing straight into it. And this, if I take a few steps back, it becomes a little bit less of an issue. So it's really at very close range that this makes a difference. And for example, if I go and aim at just a wall, straight up wall, you can see like the extreme example of this is when I shoot straight ahead. You can see that the impact appears just a little bit above my gun, so it's. I mean, I'm pointing at the screen.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I'm gonna try with
It's probably
an obstacle that has more light on it. This is so hard to control. I have to remember that I'm side view. So here, for example, on the fence. There. Oh wait, what? Ah yeah, okay. So the smoke is oh yeah, the smoke effect is poking through, but the bullet is not. See. So there we go. So if I then display, wait, where was the controller thing? Projectile. No, it's not projectile info. It's sorry. Ah yeah, I know. Show projectile path. There you go. So you can see here that I'm gonna make it a single bullet. There you go. There. So this is really what's going on. And well, here the line is red for my line of sight and white for the bullet path, but it's the same principle. And you can see that the lines are converging instead of being parallel. So that really my gun is going to be, here again, shooting a little bit higher than where it's really pointing. And you can see like the horizontal line is basically trying to test, see if it can meet the line of sight at different intervals. It's basically testing these things. And after the bullet has traveled a certain distance, I think it stops testing for, basically it doesn't necessarily look for obstacles anymore. So it's not really affecting performance either. It's really
no, but it's going to be most profound in close quarter battles.
Yeah, because if you have a guy in your face, then if you're aiming at his face, you will hit his face.
Maybe we'll see the headshot rate just go up now when you actually hit where they're
most
aiming.
likely. No, because I mean, it used to be that I've watched replays where guys were like really good at kind of compensating for it. Yeah. And I saw that when they were close, I mean, the guy with his SMG wasn't doing that; he was doing that and doing a headshot. And I was kind of
that's kind of weird that you had to learn the strangeness.
Yeah. So that's one aspect. The other thing, if I have to remember what clear all debug. Now where is that render? Yeah, there we go. So I'll make these ugly lines disappear. All right. So now, yeah, excellent. I'll take a different weapon actually. Let's see no, not that one. This one, or is it this one? This one is better. Okay, I'll get back to my this one. Yes. So what I'll try this time is to show what's happening also with the cone fire, and that I think when we explained it on the blog, we lost everybody, and it's kind of tricky because I'll show you why we lost everybody. I made this diagram. This actually I'll there you go. Old. So we have this. I'll just zoom in so that we see it correctly. I wanted to show that between the crosshairs, there's this area, this whole circle is where you might hit, is where your bullet might go. So cone fire, actually you're probably better to define cone fire. I'm always
let's go and see it.
Okay, but because cone fire is essentially trying to represent where, when you're aiming at a specific point, where the bullet might land after basically taking into account the random, basically the random factors such as.
It's an abbreviation of the the factors, so we don't need to make heavy calculations of bullet traveling and wind and everything.
So
it's introduce a bit of
it's kind of simulating wind, simulating your hand
just like
shaking,
where,
simulating
all sorts of little movements and stuff.
Just the spread in general. Because I mean, if you, I keep forgetting which one is the proper term. There's accuracy and precision, and I keep forgetting which one is which. There's one that you measure basically by you like clamp your weapon to like a concrete weight or whatever it is. You make sure that it's completely immobile, and you fire it, and then you measure the spread of the bullets.
That makes it more accurate.
That's the accuracy, right? And the precision
is simply just the build of the rifle and everything in it.
Right.
So, and that should be theoretically the same for every time you shoot, but because you are a human being that can't keep stuff still, you get the randomness of holding the gun. I think that's why we get into these. I think there's some competitions about precision shooting where you just have this massive block of metal and you make a hole in it. You measure how precise it can get, because it's absolutely. This is also why, for example, machine guns will get a lot more accurate when you mount them on a tank, for example. Because suddenly, it's like you see the especially the coaxial machine guns. It's locked into like a huge piece of metal. It's not going to move anywhere. So that machine gun will be a lot more accurate than the turret one, for example, or the one just on a bipod.
Right.
I think that's also one of the things where obviously more power is going to be transformed into the bullet as well when you shoot, when it's mounted, just because it has less.
Because it's not you who's absorbing the recoil.
Exactly, everything is pushed forward. And I think that the Germans had this the tripod for the MG42 that actually, in terms of how far you could shoot and precision, so like converted the MG42 from a light machine gun to a heavy machine gun. It was so much better than when it got put into the tripod. And the same goes for machine guns you mount in tanks. That's the best example I can come up with.
So this example was unfortunate because we picked basically a bullet spread that seems to kind of go up like that, but I mean, it does. It can kind of confuse people because it looks like we're representing recoil, but this is not recoil. This has nothing to do with recoil. And I should have maybe picked an example where basically I should have...
recoil comes on top of this stuff.
I should have done this.
Yeah.
I should have really done this so that it's horizontal. Then there's... So recoil is the entire picture here moving up.
Yeah, that recoil is just like after you shoot, the gun moves.
Then the gun moves up.
Yeah, and you have to reposition it to like nullify the recoil.
But this kind of like weird kind of bee... like it's like a bee's flight trajectory. It's really it's a function that simulates your kind of like your weapon dancing like that within the or basically where the bullets will land within the crosshairs. So it's not recoil, and that's the thing. So in the new system, what we made is that basically instead of your bullets kind of following this function, it's a geometric function. So instead of basically going, okay, you hit this spot, the next bullet will hit further down the same path, then it's randomized in the new system. So we made it so that, okay, your first bullet hits here, the other one hits there, and I'll show it in game. It's fairly obvious that instead of just
gives a more diverse spread.
It's more. The spread is kind of more uniform, more random. Yeah, basically more uniform, really, more diffused. So what I'll do is I'll slow down time with this, and now bear in mind here I disabled the recoil. So we're looking just at the bullet spread. So here's my and you see like that now I'm in slow motion. So if I fire my bullets, so I fired 4 of them. It's too close. Let's just like spacewalking. So there you go. Here it's probably better. See, so within my crosshairs, now they kind of the bullets can land randomly anywhere within the crosshairs, and it's instead of kind of having a kind of straight line It's really just like
random.
basically like you're sprinkling pepper, really like you're. And then if I add the actual recoil, which is this, then you'll see what happens with recoil is this. You see my camera is going up now, but you also see that. There you go. The difference with the way it used to be, nice. The difference is that instead of being a straight line, it's kind of it zigzags like that.
Yeah.
So you're more. I think you're more likely when actually just going da 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 da. You're more likely to hit what you're really aiming at in a way, a little bit more, because I mean it's a combination of like you're hip firing and also you're using the entire real cone. So, but again, it's very subtle at long range. It's at close range that it makes a difference. Because again, if you that's something I can show by getting out of my body. There. Well, never mind the never mind the slow motion. I might. There you go. That should be okay. Good. So if I get out of my body and I turn on the projectile paths again. So if you look at what happens when I hip fire, is this, right? So you see that the lines are really converging and that they're really starting. One is starting from where I'm holding my weapon and the other one is starting from my eye. If I go into precision mode, actually I'm going to do this to get out of there, then you can see that the lines are almost lined up.
Yeah.
They're almost coming from the same place. So that means that as soon as you precision aim, as soon as you shoulder your weapon and you look through the iron sights or the scope or whatever, you really should not feel a difference between where you're looking and where you're aiming, because you're bringing the weapon to your eye. But when you're hip firing, we're kind of giving you an extra kind of help. So I'm gonna just do one last shot here, right there. So there you go. So again, you see that really there is the recoil also. You can see that the more I fire, the more my lines are rising like that. But you can also see that the lines are converging towards where I'm looking at, and so I think there's no other kind of way I can paraphrase this. But I mean, if there's anything you didn't quite get from this presentation, you can always ask on the chat. We'll go over some stuff again at the end.
It's subtle differences, but it's something that's going to be most profound when you are close to enemies in close quarter combat.
Yeah.
And only obviously hip firing doesn't make any difference when you are precise aiming. So
while we're here, there's you did. You've been busy.
I've been basically. It started out as a what do you say, like a rework or a cleanup of our level design preparation pipeline, where I think we experienced too many things that sort of like were hard to tweak after the level was released, and so I decided to go back and rework the entire pipeline. I've done that on a few new maps that are not going to be in the game yet. And in order to check that my new pipeline actually works, I use the town map as you can say, guinea pig. And obviously, when doing that, we just random updates all over the map. But basically, I can see that I've been focusing on for the gameplay relevant stuff. I've been focusing a bit on adding more cover for the infantry, because there are places on the maps that is too easy to dominate with tanks and machine guns fire. So if you go to the A line, I think that's where we started. There's some changes to the actual.
Actually, isn't this new?
Yeah, that's also new. I
Right,
think
this texture is new, right?
it's just an update on the texture. Yeah, it got a little bit better normal mapping, and the shader has been changed to have some more filtering in the levels of the specular highlights. But that's a fun little detail.
Oh wait, that's not the right one. I want the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Also, we introduced. It's all this stuff is pretty technical, but I think we updated the way obviously the pipeline, but also the way the some of the vegetation parts are actually drawn on the map. And it's a technical thing, but this makes it easier for us to actually control the distribution of for example trees and stuff like that. We also added a nice little new draw routine we call it cluttering, but it's actually just adding very small detail objects close to where the player is. And the only place I've had time to put this in this level is a test inside the forest where little rocks are now popping up near your feet. Also, I did updates to the way the terrain, grass and everything is masked onto the terrain. So you actually see a lot of this like small covering vegetation.
There's more of it, yeah.
Yeah. This is a very.
Can I just interrupt you before? I don't want to miss anything. I'm kind of doing it backwards.
Yeah.
I only want to look at what A1 and A2.
I'll direct you towards some of the places where some changes has been going on, and more changes will happen gradually.
But here, right here, I think there's already more. There's more forest here, isn't there?
I think I changed the whole
all this bit behind the church. I think right?
I changed the whole forest to be. Yeah. Now it's
screwing up here.
It's created from, you could say, like masks. It's a very simple system. When you construct the level, you just create like a black and white mask. I want forest here, and then run it through some scripts, and it actually it takes out the edge of each mask, and the edge of the mask has a different set of forest parameters than the center of the forest. The center there's more space in there, and that's basically to reduce overdraw, and because our trees are some of the stuff that actually makes the game run slower, because it's we want to have like dense forests, and we want to have the gameplay elements of actually being able to hide in the forest and have the tactical elements of forest and not just a tree here and there. So you could say I moved the density from the forest from the middle to the edges of the forest, and you'll see that the forest edges are now much more dense, and you can actually hide in them.
But this is new, right?
I added some I added some. In Denmark, it's called markskæl. I don't know what it's called in
English, right? It's a haystack, isn't it?
No, yeah, the haystacks are over, but also some dividers between the different fields have more vegetation in them now. So they also provide. The idea with this is to actually create some channels of you could say cover or something where you can't really see, where the infantry can actually hide and maybe sort of like try and flank tanks and stuff. So there's more routes for them. They're not as exposed as they were before.
So these are new also, right?
Yeah, just that creates some systems that makes it easy to just add stuff like this to the maps. I will probably put in more as I try to play this on live and see how it works. That's usually the best way to figure out where the holes in the maps are. So you should expect the next few builds that more stuff is coming in to, you could say, like clutter up the whole level to make it more safe for infantry. Yeah, here you can actually see the.
If I go into the woods here, all this,
you'll see that
there's a lot more little details. Yeah. Okay.
But you can also see that there's the actual edge of the forest is much more dense. So once you're in the forest, you're almost like completely covered with the foliage.
Yeah, I can see what's. But
also,
going on
when you're standing outside, it's the forests are really good now as sort of like flanking tunnels.
And isn't there? Okay, so if I go down to ground level, your rocks are in specific areas.
They are somewhere, right? But you have to find. There's a bit of a change on the actual shader on the ground of the forest. It's like it's a mix between leaves and some dirt. And you have to, and the dirt is on the side of the slopes, and the leaves are sort of like at the bottom and the top of the little bumps in there, and you'll find the rocks on the sides of it. So you probably need to find a piece of forest that has some.
I know where. I remember where I saw it.
This is like subtle.
Yeah.
differences.
But it looks cool. Like when you're crawling, the only thing you see is
slowly. I'm gonna expand this. The cool thing is that now it's just like it's a separate setup that once I start to update on it, it will spread out on all the maps where it has been added.
Just trying to find my ride again. There it is.
Yeah, it's also been, and you can see that now you can see that that's if you. Also, we had a few roads here and there. There's a new flanking road.
Where is that road? Over there, right? That way?
Yeah, and you go all the way back. If you go to the I think it's called A2,
right?
And now there's a little road from the back of that goes up through the forest and all the way around.
This way?
Go to the A2.
Okay, like here.
Yes.
I thought you meant that way.
That's A2. And then you see there's a little road.
This road, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of nice because sometimes I think players' first instinct is to just follow whatever road's available. So it kind of gives you like another option to think about. Yeah.
When going through that, actually I had to take the whole setup of the map apart and then assemble it again. I just thought that there was areas of the map that weren't really used, so I started to say kind of put in something in here to just fill up the map a bit.
It's very different. So you end up here. I'm convinced that there were a lot less trees here behind the church.
Probably.
So now when you're spawning, the church is being challenged, is being contested, and
some more spawn points with the church as well.
So they're not just all in the trees here; they're also on the other side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's something we can't really.
If you go to the E-line, you can see there's lots of changes over there as well.
Yeah. This road is new.
Nope.
No,
that's an old one.
You sure it was there?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Go.
I'm gonna shut up.
And
the next one, the E line. Could have picked a faster vehicle, I think. For future changes, we might look into. I think there's some of the control points that these little tiny sheds, they need some more protection, so I'm probably going to add some more, or maybe larger buildings for those. Hey, speaking of buildings, wait, before I forget, we'll do it later. Let's not get ahead too much.
There's another road. You can't go there with your Jeep. Oh, you can.
Actually, this area, I mean, I've noticed that the really experienced players, when they try to capture the city, they bring their APC here. It's like most players don't really ever come here unless they're chasing somebody, and they kind of don't think that this is it's a very quiet parking spot. Just saying, I'm sure there's a lot of clan guys that are like probably going like, don't. But yeah, this is how they beat you. It's kind of.
If you go to the hills on the other side of the river.
On the other side, this whole area changed. I think.
No, just optimized a bit. This area was.
I forgot to turn this off.
That's a this is one of the really old parts of the level, and it just needed some.
But there used to be a.
It just removed a lot of stuff that wasn't working properly. So it's just like you can say like a little cleanup of some of the stuff.
Right.
But if you go to the other side.
Without drowning my Jeep. Can I? Yes. Good. That's why 4-wheel drive is awesome. All right.
The E-line. Yes. And up here with the control point up here, I think it's E3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it should be.
That usually is an area where that gets really contested with tanks from outside of the open fields.
Now it's a lot more.
So I tried to go all the way up to the grassy fields.
But this whole area is a lot more bushy.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing about the whole forest stuff. It has the edges of the forest are much more dense.
This is new, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? The
nope.
Little.
Nope. Go to the forest, or to go to the hills up here. I want to show that the actual calculation of the terrain has changed a little bit, and the reasoning for that. You go out
right
to the right. Yeah, go out into the
Yeah.
field. You'll see that the grass feels a lot more like billowy and bumpy, and I think that's also just to make it a little better for infantry to actually just duck down behind some of the bumps and maybe lie down and stuff, and it's going to be a bit harder for tanks to actually just sit out there on the field and shoot at everybody. Every time they move, the barrel will go up and down because the ground is just a bit more.
Yeah, I'm going to do a demonstration.
So that's at least the idea of changing that part of the terrain. This is a change that happens on all the grass fields on the terrain. That it's.
Yeah, so you see, like if I'm like imagine I'm chasing somebody, I'm really going whoa, really bobbing up and down. So, and somewhere in there is.
Try and go a little slower. I think people are having a hard time seeing.
I'm giving people
nausea.
Nausea. Somewhere in there is E2. I kind of forgot where it was. So wait. Yes. Oh, I missed it. That's funny. So it's somewhere behind me. There it is. So those trees over there, that's somewhere in there is E2.
Hopefully these are actually rather small changes, but I think hopefully it will give a little bit more to the dynamic of the map, make it better for infantry, because I think some situations it's the tanks dominates too much on some of the maps, and it's
seriously, I lost it again.
It's sort of like a thing where you obviously tanks are very good on long distance, and that's why when we make the map, we'll try to see if we can break the aiming lines of the tanks to make them not having too much of an advantage on long distance shooting.
Seriously?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to find E2, and I was turning my turret instead of my tracks. Okay, so now it should be somewhere. Wait a minute. Somewhere in that direction. Because I remember that this particular area really struck me as something that changed a lot. So yeah, okay, so I need to go a little bit more this way. So that's it. This is E2.
Yeah.
So this area used to be like this completely open space.
Open and very, very flat.
Very flat.
So it's
so now
some curves.
if I want to cap E2, I mean, if I'm looking over there, it's still open.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not going. I haven't got all the way through the map because it was sort of like my guinea pig of getting the terrain pipeline construction pipeline working a bit better. And I have.
But this is new. All these trees that wasn't
it's
there
the
before.
Composition of the trees that have changed. The trees are exactly the same as they used to be.
I'm not saying the individual trees. I'm saying where they're placed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's making it easier to.
Oh, there's your rocks. There's your clutter.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
So this is the clutter. So it's a tiny little thing, but really it's all these little rocks, and they're appearing randomly, aren't they?
No. You're semi-randomly, but it's sort of like a thing where you can put more detailed artwork really close to the camera, and it's gonna get it. There's no collision or anything on it. It's just gonna get cut out really, really quickly. But it is something that's going to sort of like make the whole terrain feel a little bit more real.
And more. There's like the grass looks a little bit more hairy.
Yeah, but I did the grass. I wanted to the whole idea with these type of grass rendering is to break up the silhouettes, especially in the distance. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, why don't you do the grass like in Warzone and other games, like where you have like massive, very solid grass right up in the camera?" And the difference from Heroes and Generals and the other games is that we would actually like to have the grass extend all the way out into the distance of the game to break up silhouettes and make it harder for you to spot targets on a long distance. And that's to do that it requires a different way of creating or drawing the grass which makes it obviously a little bit worse on close-up, but you can see it on a long distance, and I actually think it's a better trade-off for the game rather than having a really nice close-up grass and no grass in the distance. I'd rather have this as we have now.
This is new.
We made some changes to the windows. Can we go back to the terrain stuff?
To the terrain? You want to go back to?
Go to the Iron Bridge and just show the D and C line as well.
You want to start with D? Let's go with D.
I think I've heard that we are starting to run out of time.
Run out of, okay. But then, what's the other thing when we're... yeah. Do you want to do the... Do you want to show the other thing that we could... Yeah? No? Or that? Yeah?
I think you have more stuff on the list that you need to...
but that's what I'm saying. So what do we...
I think you should skip right on.
Do we skip and what do we show?
5 more minutes.
Yeah. But there's as I said, there's lots of small changes all over the map. And especially the big open areas, I tried to put in some more, you could say, like line of sight breakers for especially for trying to make it a bit harder for tanks to actually just dominate the area.
Is there something here, for example? No, not here.
Yeah, there's another road there.
Yeah. Wait.
But now you're going to the
where's
D line.
Where's the other road?
The B and the C line.
Yeah, but that's different.
This area down here.
We're there, yeah. Okay. But wasn't there? There was also another road at A. Right? This one.
You just went that. No, that's been there all the time.
Yeah, but we went there. That's true. Okay, so that's the one. Okay, sorry. Yeah. It's hard to keep track sometimes of what was there and what wasn't.
So as generally, it's.
So this is new, for example.
Yeah.
This hill, this whole.
Yeah. Still, again, it's like trying to put a little bit more hills and vegetation and stuff between on the big open parts of the map. These areas are really hard because they usually have there's a huge open space and infantry without vehicles are kind of fucked when they start up.
Yeah, because I remember that people generally tend to spawn here. They see that there's enemy tanks shelling them, so they just go for like this wall wasn't there before.
No,
also,
that's a new one as well.
So they just go straight for the next point. But here now you have like kind of tree cover all the way down to there. That should make it more interesting. Should we go and look at the C and B lines?
I think if you're gonna have time to go through the rest of your list here, then we need to end this show right now.
All right. But I mean, we wanted to show the war. Do we have time to do that?
When you go through the rest, we'll end up with showing the.
Okay, let's do that then.
The rest of the.
Because essentially the rest we've shown also, I think, in the news blog, that there was there's a anti-aircraft battery on the broken church tower.
Oh yeah, and I heard some wise asses.
How can it get there?
You can disassemble it, carry it up, and then assemble it again. Yeah, that's how stuff is done.
So I'm going to the C line.
Yeah.
That is one to teleport instead.
Oh yeah, but if we teleport, aren't we going to miss some stuff?
So that's fine. Oh, here you see again that the fields are again covered up with a bit more vegetation and stuff that will break the lines of sight. So these because this area is actually also hard. If you if you're met with armor, then it's can be really hard to hold these positions.
So a little bit more cover.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go to B.
I think you should go to your desktop and continue with this stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. Yeah. There was another. Yeah. So where's the? If I can just find it. 'Cause we
Yeah,
didn't
I think
we
when
didn't get the links for the forum thingy, did we? In the folder. Let me go and check out. I don't think so. Twitch. No, it's not there. Yeah, okay, so I'll find it from the from this here. All right. There is a poll, basically a vote going on right now on our forums.
Oh, cool.
And so that's the thing we're. It's actually, I think we were going to have time to show everything we wanted to show, because this doesn't take very long. So I'll just move all these. Oh, we can't do that. Okay, so one at a time. So this is a poll organized by Saitu, or Zaitu, I think you pronounced it each T separately, who's basically trying to determine who is, according to the community, who is the best player in each faction. And so there's basically suggestions have been made, and then I think a little bit later he's going to open a poll for people to vote on the players that have been nominated as potentially the best guys in their faction. And it's funny because I see a lot of names that keep getting accused of cheating. They're not. They're like, look at all these names and all these lists. They're all just good players.
Are you gonna stick those links to the forum somewhere in the blog post or something, so people can find it?
I guess we could. That's probably something for Robotron to consider.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think it's a great idea, though. I must say.
Yeah. So you have here. This is for the US faction. He made a separate post for each. So you have best Soviet player. Then again, same thing. You have a list. Basically, everybody is suggesting their own favorite candidate, and eventually there will be a final vote.
Can you read your Skype?
Oh, I don't read Skype. I'm sorry.
The polls should be open already.
The polls are open already.
Yes.
Okay. I think you probably told. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So. The polls are open. Where is the poll then? Voting is here. Okay, so I have these separate links. So here you have the actual poll, for example, for the Soviets. And so basically it's in the forums, gameplay, general gameplay talk. So if you're looking at the, I'll try it here. So forums, you go to the forum page, gameplay, and then this section, general gameplay talk. And here is the, where's the vote for the best. There you go. Vote for the best German player. Vote for the best US player. And here are the polls. So, for example, here you can see that there's Idle Cleese in first place. Shili. It's Old Man Smithers, of course. It's names that come back often. It's like the guys that are. Many of these guys have their own Twitch or YouTube channel where they stream their games, and you can see like their mad skills, which is but it's also kind of funny because like pretty much every single one of these guys is being like really called supernatural, and but they're not. They're really just skilled. So it's interesting to see them here. The next thing we wanted to show, and last thing, is the.
I think actually, if you do it this way, do the recap. Because then people know. Just come in what we talked about.
And then we can just drift off.
And then we're just gonna go. We noticed that just before we were supposed to go live here, the war 380 ended.
Yeah.
With the Americans winning, and we totally stressed out and tried to update the campaign viewer so we could show it, and that's what we're gonna do after the recap. Then we're just gonna show the whole war at the obviously it's gonna speed it up and I'm
not gonna skip anything important. Let me just the recap is that we covered some of the physics, I guess you could call it, weapon physics changes.
The aim system.
The aim system, basically, which has been tweaked in the Adams update to basically make it more intuitive, more natural in a way, so that you really hit what you're looking at and not necessarily where your gun is pointing. So we'll, if you really want to kind of get the complete explanation, please you can rewatch this entire episode from the start. We'll put it on YouTube later, and it's going to be available on Twitch later. And we also covered some of the changes in the terrain system. And the terrain system has been used to basically revamp the town map. So we've only changed the town map so far with the new terrain system, but then again, next, basically all the maps will get another iterations. And we will make the usual announcements. You can follow us on Twitch, on Twitter, on Facebook, on what's the other thing? The thing with the hipster pictures. Instagram. Yes.
Hipster pictures. Lots of beards. Lots of very well-groomed beards.
I got the same exact glasses as hipster Hitler. If you see this cartoon, we also will be. What was I going to say? Yeah, so we will be putting this episode on YouTube later. The war.
Yeah, let's show it.
Let's show the war.
Let's just go there. We are overtime now, and
So.
Just a second. Just a second. This is the longest war that we've ever had, at least in my don't do that, please. You are gonna mess up the whole map.
Me mess up things?
Yeah, never. I told you not to do. So this is a campaign viewer that we put up. That is it's sort of like a little side project. So it's bug riddled, and as I just told Fred here or Gargamel, if you start to rescale it, everything will mess up. So I'd rather not do that. No, well, back to the war 380 is we have recorded the whole war. It was for something that is like 20 something days. Actually, it's pretty crazy, and it ended up with the Americans winning the war. You could say like it's fun to watch the last dash where they managed to capture the two last German towns and actually reduce the Germans to zero, which doesn't really happen that often.
So they capped every single
Germans were defeated, you could say, and America had more major cities than
has
the
this
Soviets.
Ever happened before?
Yeah, it has happened before.
But to the Soviets, right? Not to the Germans?
I don't know, but it's one of those rare cases. But the thing is that it's a very long war. So and this link, this server is actually public, so you can find it and you can go to the screen and try it out yourself. But beware, it's a buggy thingy.
Yeah.
If you just play, you will see.
Press play.
You will see that the war starts up, and you can see the progress bar at the top. You'll see that this is going to take a long time. But try click 3 times on the plus speed.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. And then it goes a bit faster.
Is that a new thing?
Yeah, it's something I just put in 5 minutes ago.
Cool.
So just to make it.
Sehr schön, sehr schön.
Can I just? There you go.
Is there something happening in Sweden?
Yes, there will be something happening in Sweden, because you will see that the Americans and the Soviets and the Germans will be, at some points they will be almost losing, and then they're coming back, and it's like it's a very interesting war to follow, to see how it just goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Only area that's ever not really contested is the area down here with the I think it's Budapest and Beograd, I think.
And when there's a big explosion,
that's when a major city is captured.
Okay.
Also, you can see like it starts around the cities, like black circles are appearing every time a battle has been won in a city. It becomes a little bit more black, sort of like a scorched earth type thing. So you can see where most battles actually happen is the ones that are more black. But you'll see in the end of this war, the whole map will just be black. So
nice. But so should I increase the speed a little bit?
No. Just let it run. I think we're just gonna let it run and then probably just end the stream after this. But as I think people have probably already screen dumped the URL, so you can just go in and play it yourself.
Last time we opened it, people crashed it, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
but that was actually our service provider that had made some really freaky accident. It wasn't.
Okay, so this time it should work.
It should work. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was like there's 20 people connecting and it crashed. So that was just weird.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not supposed to be.
And obviously, we have put up several other wars you can watch on this tool. One of the things that we removed a lot of them because we changed to a more compressed data format, and that's why we had a little panic of getting this one up because we had to sort of like update the uncompression and the new war at some to make it ready for today. So. Yeah, congratulations to the Americans. This is a great victory, but also congratulations to everybody because it seems like this has been a really fun war, a long one. I think Denmark has just been switching sides so many times.
We can see the area around.
You can actually see now that there's been some attacks on England. You can see where stuff has happened, because it gets darker. So now you see the Germans are pushing up towards.
Yeah.
No, but also towards England.
Yeah.
And then you'll see after a while the Americans push them back.
Apparently this is not the longest war, it's the longest war for some time. They have been longer.
They have?
Yes, apparently.
I mean, like a long time ago, probably.
Yeah.
And we're still not.
It's fun that actually every time one of the longer wars end, we have this very quick war. I think we need to do something to make. I think that's just like a surprise thing where just like people just rush the campaign after that and.
Because everybody else has gone to bed.
Something
probably
like that.
something like that. Yeah.
So we need to figure out somewhere to sort of like delay it a little bit so everybody can get ready.
Huh. It's really nice with the black outlines. It's really.
Yeah, but right now it gets very obviously that it's they hit the most black thing, transparency. Too early in this war because so many battles have been fought on the.
Oh, but still, you can kind of see where the.
You can see up on the top. I've added some numbers on the bars, the colored bars on the top right. It displays how many battlefields a faction is currently holding, and the number is number of attacks that a faction has won on a city. That's very specific, but that's kind of like the data we currently store is actually only when a battlefield changes owner. That's
okay. It kind of stopped for a while there.
It's probably
It's redundant.
No, but it's spread out, so it's actually playing it in sort of accelerated real time. It's not just taking the numbers as they come. It's executing them on the right time.
Okay, so
yeah. So actually, you won't. This viewer will not view. It won't show if a battle is won by the defenders. It's only the attackers' victories that are actually shown. So a lot of other battles are going to happen here, or are actually happening, and we don't show any skirmishes or anything as well. This is only assault maps. This is how it ended. Americans won, and you'd see that they sort of like had this.
we're still fighting. But they pushed. I kind of missed it. The last capital to fall was what, Budapest?
I think it was Belgrade.
Okay, because you can see that when there's no outline, there's been no battles, right?
Yeah. So there's
been no fighting in the Balkans.
Yeah, that's just been that's unusual.
Wow. I've been reading the wrong history books.
No, but also check out up there in Riga and St. Petersburg. There's also
it's very quiet.
It's around London. almost nothing happened as well. So it's strange that it's such a long war, and there's areas that has never been contested. That's interesting, at least. So but go ahead and you can replay it as you like, but don't expect us to. This is a little test thing we did just to be able to see the wars for fun. But we need to know. We need to figure out if we're gonna develop it further or something. It has very low priority for us, but still, we think it's a fun tool.
It's because it was like quickly made to be able to show something.
And it's sitting on a different server and stuff, so it's a browser thingy.
I guess this is the time when we say we'll be back next week.
Robotron is correcting my poor English. Beograd in English is called Belgrade.
That's almost the same sound.
I think
Belgrade.
Apparently, War 65 and 82 have been the longest. They're the only one that lasted longer.
65 and 82, those two wars are longer,
a fairly long
but
time
that's a long time.
But that's
ago.
the thing is, like back in those days, there were very few players. Very few generals.
Yeah.
And the rules were not exactly the same.
And
the number of battlefields was not the same.
Not at the speed of the assault teams and everything. So it's hard to compare those things.
So
you can only actually compare battles, wars that are sort of like within the same time frame. So,
So, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing, and have a nice weekend. See you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.